Hello, and
Welcome.
welcome to
Alternate fucking
Casuals.
What makes you
Fucking
casual?
It don't matter.
What you know.
fucking
All right. Ultimate effing casuals. We're fucking back in 2026. Holy shit. It's been a minute. Nathan, Isaac, my boys, how are we doing?
Dude, doing well, man. It's been a minute. Glad to be back.
Yeah, doing well. Here too. New Year came and went real fast, but now we've entered a new era for the UFC, so I'm excited to get back to it.
Yeah, first things first, we're gonna extend the hand of friendship off to the boxing B-sides. Talk a little boxing really quick. Did you guys catch Agit Kabayel in his fight on January 10th?
Dude, yeah. Man, the Germans love him, man. I did not expect that the crowd would be out there like they were, but
Super
dude,
hype.
they really love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's clearly like the next gen of heavyweight once Usyk moves on. Really, really exciting fighter. He's like what you want from a heavyweight, right? You want someone who's actually going to press for a knockout and get it when he calls the shots, and that's what Caballero is.
Yeah, he's emerging, I think, next to Moses Italma, who unfortunately had an injury. We were going to talk about him briefly as well, but yeah, his fight is off. It was supposed to be on the 24th. It's too bad.
Very unfortunate. Yeah.
And also, Dalton Smith bops Subriel Matias to claim the 140-pound title. That was very unexpected. I did not expect hard-hitting, come-forward pressure fighter to get beaten up by a Brit. Get beaten at his own game at that. That shit was wild.
It was surprising, but at the same time, like Matias has been like, the quote-unquote boogeyman TM, for such a long time that he started to have the career trajectory of like, he's kind of missed maybe not for his own fault, but like he's missed his moment to like really take off, and he's just continually fighting guys that he's massive favorites against. And like, eventually, if you keep doing that forever, I feel like something like this is going to happen, right?
Yeah. I always thought, I would say in the middle of this fight, I did think, Smith was going to fade later on. Matias was holding up to Smith's like pressure. He was taking the shots, but like you said, Nathan, he's always been this guy that just sort of walks you down. He eats what you give him. But man, I guess at some point, that, it's going to end at some point. Like, your timer is going to run out at some point, and I guess it did against Smith here. I was very surprised to see it. He got fully put down. Yeah, man, very unexpected. I did not think Matias was gonna lose that, but the UK now has another champion.
Something funny that you said, Isaac, on Fight Night was never send a Puerto Rican to do a Mexican's job.
Yeah, man.
That shit was way too funny.
Very unfortunate, yeah, very unfortunate. Dude, I was looking at it as well, like that the UK now has more champions than Puerto Rico. Like this was the fight that I think decided it. So, yeah, Matias, he let down his country.
Damn. But that's all the boxing we got for now. Some news stuff. Let's see. PFL executives Peter Murray and Ray Sefo leave PFL. This has been, I think they got a new CEO in 2025. I want to say like June, July timeframe. And they've been restructuring how they're going to do things. So, I don't know. I think we kind of saw it with like the PFL Champion Series. The way they're going to do the tournaments building up to moving into the Champion Series. I think that's the vision going forward. But I'm eager to see what they do with this.
There are some fighters in the PFL that I look forward to seeing all the time. But is it a ticking time bomb, man? Is it a sinking ship? Like, is it just like all of these movements? I know the Saudis got involved, but is it just like delaying the inevitable?
Yeah, I think they have a niche where The tournament structure does get it's that format. I think does lend some like a rigid structure that people like to see, and everybody knows this isn't the A tier, right? We're not watching PFL because we're seeing the best on the planet. We're watching fights because they're fun. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think if they stay in that particular lane, they can be around for a while longer, but I don't know if they have those aspirations, especially not with what they used to pay people, right? We've seen the fighter purses shrink pretty dramatically in the last year and a half. And I mean, just from a selfish PFL perspective, like they really dropped the ball allowing Ngannou to go box, right? Like they lost, 2 or 3 potential fights they could have had by contractually allowing him to go off and do that, which, Ngannou made a lot of money on it and he's free to go do stuff like that. But, the PFL really had an opportunity to get a lot of eyes on them when they had him in his prime. And they got one fight out of it and that's it. So, I mean, if they try to do what, ONE FC does and just be like a niche MMA program that's easy and accessible for fans, then they can stick around. But I feel like their investors had loftier expectations, and if they keep having them, that probably would sink them.
Yeah, I mean, I hope Ngannou can fight, at least like one more time. I think what is it in his contract? It's per one more fight. But I mean, I just don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. That feels like so long ago, like since he signed with the PFL. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Really, the right thing to happen for combat sports in general was for him to just get released so he could fight like Aspinall or something in the UFC again.
Yeah,
like that would be the best outcome for us.
Yeah, I mean, these are like top fights, just like never got made, which is sort of disappointing, like you said, as a fan. But yeah, I mean, the cross promotional stuff was just never going to work, I guess, especially when you have like, the UFC, like they sort of don't like mixing with other promotions either. So
isn't Dana White still beefing with Ngannou for whatever reason?
Yeah, that is. I would be very curious, like, if the UFC desperately needed like a big fight, would Dana put aside his pettiness? And I would be very interested to see what happens. But honestly, I don't think he would. I think, and he's spoken like many times about it. I just don't think he would like ever sign Ngannou, even if they like desperately needed a big fight.
Yeah, I don't think they would either. Man, Ilia Topuria's domestic violence case and him stepping away from MMA doesn't look like he's going to be fighting in 2026. The recent announcement was that the UFC is not going to strip him, and they are open to an interim title fight. I don't think it's going to be Gaethje versus Pimblett. That's going to be the interim fight, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Yes, some unfortunate stuff. It's like all ongoing. I know there's like a bunch of family stuff, and I think even like their daughter is like having to be involved, obviously, with like custody. It's a very unfortunate situation, and I really wish we could see him fight. Hopefully they get that, settled quickly.
I think they will, because the latest I saw was that Topuria or someone close to him said he was hoping to fight between April and June of this year, which is, I mean,
that would be very good. Very good.
That like the total opposite of what we heard initially is what y'all said, that it looked like he wasn't going to fight at all this year. So I'm not really sure what to believe there. Back when this initially came out, I think 2 or 3 days before, he had some interview where he was talking about his long-term goal is like, I want to get into boxing and I want to prove myself there, and like the same kind of shtick we've heard from other UFC fighters before. So I don't know what to believe. Like, I hope he comes back. I think he belongs in the UFC. He has a ton to accomplish there, but like, you never know with like personal stuff like this, especially if the divorce case is getting nasty or the domestic violence stuff. I feel for him, but we'll have to just wait and see on that.
I saw this rumor website post that it was going to be dismissed. That the divorce is going through, yes, but that the domestic violence stuff was going to get brushed aside. Now, obviously that hasn't happened to date. So, but it was weird that would be floating around.
Yeah. Apparently, like, obviously, like, I'm not in Spain, but from what I've been like seeing online, it's like a pretty big like tabloid thing over in Spain, like with him and his wife or ex-wife, I guess. So like, I mean, he's super popular there, man. It's you know, obviously this is not what he wants to be like in the news for, but I mean, yeah, I want to see him back in the UFC, man. We got to get this dude in Spain, or at least like in the UK or something. We got to get him back to fighting.
Could do UFC or England and Spain at the same time by going to Gibraltar and the funky jurisdiction that is.
Listen, yeah, they said they want to go everywhere, so I mean, let's do it.
For the few that watch it, Karate Combat, they've changed their weight classes. Going to be lined up with MMA at large. So that's pretty fun. When you're desperate for fights, Karate Combat definitely fills the gap pretty nicely.
Yeah, they get some good fights. And Sam Alvey, not that long ago, got slept pretty bad. Was it by the Spain?
Yes.
Rebellis to Spain. Yeah, that was a really bad one.
UFC Seattle. I think this is going to be in March. The headline: Israel Adesanya versus Joe Piper. That should be a fun fight. Make or break time for
Could be a retirement fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be a retirement fight if he's not careful. Just the idea of Piper beating Izzy, like any form of Izzy, is kind of wild to think about, but like it's very much on the table with how Izzy's kind of fallen off, and especially the comments he's saying on his mentality of like he's, you know, kind of checked out, and he's like, but he still wants to fight. Like that stuff is always like kryptonite for, you know, a fighter, especially in like the UFC where there's no soft touches. There's very few anyway compared to like boxing. So I don't know. I'll definitely be tuning into that because that could be his final call there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to go at some point. I'd say like Adesanya is definitely like the better MMA fighter, but like with the power that Piper has, I mean, there's just I could easily see Izzy getting slept like early on. And you know, I mean that would obviously be pretty bad for his career, like getting slept by or stopped by Imavov, and then Piper, like that pretty much, you know, it's time to hang him up at that point. But we'll see if he still has one more in him.
This one I didn't know was a rematch. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Apparently, Grasso beat Barber a few years ago. Has been on a bit of a skid since, and since the loss, Barber has been on a win streak the entire time. So
it's a nice little co-main.
Yeah,
I think this probably it's I guess somewhat big for the division. Like, I don't know if the winner will get like a title shot immediately, but it at least like puts their name in the conversation.
There's a bunch of other stuff on here. Nothing really stands out. But
I'm sure they'll continue to add more stuff.
Oh man, recaps. We're reaching all the way back to November when you last heard from us. Just some high-level notes. Friday, November 7th, one Fight Night 37. The heavyweight kickboxing title was on the line. Roman Kriklia, the champion, got beat by Samit Agdeve. There was also the co-main Nico Carrillo, a Scottish Muay Thai guy, had a great fight, great stoppage over Luke Lessie. Let's see. On November 8th, had a UFC Fight Night. Gabriel Bonfim beat Randy Brown by stoppage in 2. I don't recall if anything else stood out on the card.
Yeah, this one was a little bit like under the radar as far as our card went. But I mean, the bumping one was nice. I mean, he's 18-1, sort of starting to climb the welterweight rankings. So it's a decent win to get.
Let's see. Saturday, November 15th, 173. Tai Ruotolo got a submission in 1 over Shozo Isojima. Super Lek lost his kickboxing fight to Yuki Yoza. Dennis Puric, his losing skid continues. Takeru Sagawa stops him in 2. Lightweight MMA champ Christian Lee gets a win. And Superbone retains his featherweight kickboxing title, beating Masaaki Noiri. Same day in Madison Square Garden, UFC 322. Oh, man.
Big card.
Yeah. Bo Nickel got a stoppage in 3 over Rodolfo Vieira, so that's fun.
Beautiful stoppage as well. Beautiful stoppage.
Good to see him actually bouncing back and proving that hey, he's still worth something.
Yeah, I mean his striking definitely improved. I mean, Rodolfo Vieira, I mean, he's like an older fighter. I mean, it's not like Bo Nickel's gonna be champion, but it's at least in the right direction. His striking did improve. But I imagine we're gonna see him on the White House card. At least if he wants to wait that long.
Forgot about Alex Pereira's short relationship with Tracy Cortez. That was fun.
Yeah, it was like a week and a half. Yeah.
But on this card, Tracy Cortez got submitted in 2, so that's fun. The main portion of the card, Benoit Saint-Denis, huge knockout over Benel Dariush.
Yeah, I mean,
Dariush built of bubblegum and toothpicks at this point, instantly turned to ash in this fight.
Yeah, this is a steamroll. It's at this point, it's just he's too old and his fight style just doesn't really work anymore at his age. Before, he could take this type of damage and he could start to rally back, but that only works for so long, and the more you do it as well, the quicker you expedite your exit of the sport. So I mean, it's it's sort of rough to say, but I think it's getting very close to time for Dariush to hang him up.
Does Leon Edwards have to hang him up? Got knocked out by Carlos Pradesh in 2.
Maybe he's a guy at least especially after the Usman fights, I don't know if I could have envisioned him getting stretchered like he did. That was a phenomenal knockout and a real changing of the guard. The in is new and the old is out. Goodbye. You're dusted, Leon.
Yeah, he did pretty well in round 1, but man, we say it every time when he fights, but Carlos Pradesh, man, his power is you do not want to be taking hits from him. And like Nathan said, we had not seen that happen to Leon Edwards before. But it happened this time. Pradesh is for real.
A recent vanquisher of Leon Edwards, Sean Brady, also got stopped, but he got stopped in the first by Michael Morales.
Yeah, dude, this was one-way traffic, completely. Morales, man, he is a massive dude, for the welterweight division. I mean, I feel like he'd even be somewhat decent size for a middleweight. But man, he is massive for 170. Long arms, has good power. I mean, he fought the fight against Brady exactly like he needed to. Used his length, stayed on the outside, and just picked him apart. It was one-way traffic. Morales looks good, man. I think he's gonna be, competing somewhat soon for a title, or at least very close to one. Yeah, just watch out for him, man. He's very good.
Co-main event, the women's flyweight title on the line. Valentina Shevchenko gets the UD over Zhang Weili. I was, in my initial watch, I was thinking, wow, this is boring. This is the type of stuff that like a casual person tuning in wouldn't want to see this. But at the same time, you think, why would you want to be standing and trading with Zhang Weili? That's not a good idea. So Shevchenko used the right game plan, but God, it was difficult to watch.
Yeah. I mean, she got it done, but yeah, it was not like super exciting. But man, I would say this though, Shevchenko looked massive there compared to Weili. It was like a very apparent size difference. It was like one of those things that you can't really blame Weili for wanting to try it. But yeah, she's sort of does not belong in this weight division.
Yeah, I mean, just looking on paper at their records and their accolades, like, yeah, that looks like a close fight on paper, but the reality is, especially in the women's divisions, like, you know, those weight classes exist for a reason. And I mean, for Weili's case, it's doubly hard to move up and fight, you know, someone that size who has all the skills you have, but maybe even better, certainly better striker. But like, I mean, the wrestling was, you know, just totally overwhelming and smothering, and there's nothing she could do. And totally agree with you, Leo. Like, that's about as boring as it gets. But like, you know, hey, that's what happens when you can't wrestle, or you got someone that's got, you know, 20 pounds on you, or how, I mean, I don't think Shevchenko was that much bigger, but still, there was no shot there.
And the welterweight title, Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena. Was this a similar situation to Shevchenko versus Zhang?
I don't think it was necessarily a size difference. They're both about the same size. This was just a total gap in skill. Like, the Grand Canyon difference between wrestling abilities, and Islam pitched like a torso shutout. This one was a little more entertaining just because he's fighting for submissions the whole way, and, you know, to Madalena's credit, he was able to fight off all of those. But like, that image of him at the end of the fifth round, or the start of the fifth round, when he looks like he's about to cry, like, I don't think I've seen a fighter like that broken by a performance before. Like, he had no belief he was going to win that fight, and he knew, like, I don't even have a puncher's chance. I'm not, like, as soon as I throw, he's going to take me down again. And I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened, you know, like 10 seconds into the round.
Yeah. Yeah, man, Islam just dominated. He's so much better on the ground than these people. Like, it is, like, sort of crazy, like, how, like, the difference in skill. I mean, because he's been doing it since he was a kid. So, like, I mean, think about how much, like, experience he's, like, gathered in wrestling, grappling. And, like, we saw how well Maddalena did against Bilal. You know, he defended, like, a lot of those takedowns very well. But, I mean, it's just a different level with Islam. I mean, Islam really proved himself. You know, the size, I'm sure he felt a lot better at 170 without the weight cut, or without, you know, as bad of a weight cut. But yeah, man, I mean, Islam, I guess technically not like double champ, but 2-division champion. I mean, it's a big year for him, very big year for Islam, and he looked pretty dominant in doing so.
Last card for November, another Fight Night card. This one in Doha, Qatar. Let me have a scan at this. Ian Machado Gary gets a win over Bilal Muhammad. So that's fun.
Yeah, a good win. It was honestly more competitive than I thought. Bilal actually came in with some decent striking against Gary. You know, and at times had him, I guess, a little bit uneasy, but I thought it was a good win for Gary.
Main event. Arman Sarukian submits Dan Hooker in 2.
And another, we were just talking about it with Islam, and Arman is just incredibly dominant in the ground. I mean, we saw it whenever, I mean, he fought early on in his career. He fought against Islam. I think it was even like a late replacement fight. Uh, Young, dude, he looked good. I mean, Islam won that fight, but he knew what he was doing on the ground, and he's just gotten so much better over the years. And I mean, this was just, again, like one-way traffic. I mean, Dan Hooker couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. Like even on the feet, because of the threat of the takedown, he just was unable to really get anything going up top. But yeah, man, this, seeing that performance, it was sort of frustrating too, just for the fact that like Arman should be the one fighting for, whatever title is available at lightweight. I understand like they were sort of pissed off with him at one time for having to pull out against Islam, but man, I mean, how many more times is he gonna have to fight before they actually give him a shot?
Hopefully not too much longer. He definitely deserves a shot. I mean, Hooker was ranked, middle top 10 of his division, and that was not even a competitive fight. So he's got to get, like, I know why the UFC made this fight. It's like, hey, we're not giving you a title shot off of you dipping out of your last title shot opportunity like days before the fight. Like, I get that they don't want to just thrust him back in there, but this fight is out of the way. He should be next in line either for the interim or for, when Yulia comes back. So
yeah, I mean, wherever a title is available, he needs to be the one fighting for it, and probably somewhat soon, because I mean, if they it's one of those things. I mean, especially like in combat sports, your athletic prime isn't like super long, and like it's somewhat of a small window, when you're at your absolute peak. So I mean, he needs to be fighting, preferably against, someone at least like top 3, if not the title. I mean, we saw how he demolished Hooker, and like Nathan said, I mean, Hooker was like in the middle of the rankings, I think somewhere around like 5 or 6. So I mean, he needs to be fighting better people.
All right, that's it for the recaps. Now we gotta get our best of 2025 out there. Are you guys ready for the first half?
Yeah.
do it.
All right. Stoppage of the year. This could be KO or submission or both. Isaac, start us off here.
All right, yeah. So for my stoppage of the year, I went with Mauricio Hufi versus Bobby Green. Dude, that spinning kick was incredible. It's one of those knockouts that I'm just never gonna forget. Whenever you think MMA, like in movies, this is the type shot that you think. Just a beautiful shot. Bobby Green went like full ragdoll to the ground, landed on his face. I mean, I'm never gonna forget it. Beautiful knockout. And yeah, that was my knockout of the year.
All right, I'll go next. In the first half of the year, that was also my knockout of the year. That at least up to the midpoint. In the second half, I had Salkild versus Hakparast. This was the Australian card, and it was a nasty, nasty knockout. The guy was out cold for minutes, and it was got a little scary there.
Yeah, that's a good one. Dude, I think that was late. That was a late replacement too. Salkild was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so that makes it even more impressive.
I did pick a submission as well. Van Steenis over Johnny Eblin.
Yeah.
That was a good come from behind win.
Very surprising one too, considering like Eblin was the grappler between them. Van Steenis was the striker.
My second half picks, I'm going to go with those. Salkild, Hakparast, and Van Steenis over Eblin. Nathan, what do you got?
So I'm pretty sure my first half pick was Ilya versus Charles, and it remains that. I just can't get over the stage it was on, the circumstances, right? Charles murked everyone except for Islam, pretty much. I mean, he did lose to Arman too, but it was a grappler versus striker deal. Anyone who stands with Charles usually gets knocked out and hurt. And so for Ilya to move up, his first fight at lightweight's a title fight, and he just knocks him out immediately that's as good as it gets as far as stakes go. And so I have to keep it as that.
Masterclass of the year. I'll start here. In the first half, I had Volkanovski beating Lopez. In the second half, I picked Islam beating JDM. But my final pick for 2025, Volkanovski beating Diego Lopez. There was the circumstances around the fight are what made it stand out to me. Nathan, what do you got?
I think mine for the year is Islam versus JDM. Just as I mentioned earlier, the the complete despair on JDM's face, like it kind of says it all. I'll just say it again. Like I've never seen a guy look like he knows he has no chance. Like worst poker face of all time in that moment of like I'm fucked. I'm not gonna win this fight. I'm losing the title right now, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Isaac, what do you got?
All right, yeah. So I went actually with Jan in Marab versus Jan. Dude, just another the whole storyline behind it as well sort of factors into it. But man, Jan Marab could get nothing going. He was throwing just takedown after takedown and would get nothing. And when he would get it, Jan would be on the floor for maybe 2 to 3 seconds, and he was already back up to his feet. And lighting him up on the feet as well, big combos. Just couldn't get anything going. But yeah, Jan was it for me.
Villain of the year. Nathan, kick us off.
So I'm going to be a little unconventional, and I'm going to say the corporation we call ESPN, which is, I guess, owned by Disney. So we could say Disney is a villain too. But just the villains of good matchmaking this year. I feel like more than previous years, we've really had to scrape for, better stuff to come our way. And it seemed like ESPN as a service, pulled away from the UFC. They knew they were out, and they did. It seems like the promotion was so bad. You have these big UFC cards near the end of the year that actually had recognizable names and on paper good matchups, and I didn't see any promotion happening. And it's thanks a lot, guys, for all the shit the UFC's done for them as far as being a watchable product. For them to go out like that is not unexpected, but really you had to torture your fans for the last 8 months. So, but that time is over. That villain has been defeated, and we'll see if Paramount can do one up on them or not.
Isaac, who did you get?
Yeah, so I actually had a little bit of trouble thinking about this one, and it's gonna be someone out there just for the fact that he didn't really fight. But man, I went again with John Jones. I mean, stuff in the news about him, he allegedly did, and then continuing to go on about Aspinall, even retires. Dana White in the middle of a card, or after a card just announces he's retired. Now he's talking about coming back again. I mean, it's just this continuous, and it's been like this for 2 to 3 years, man. And it's getting to a point now. I mean, at the very beginning, it was oh man, this is potentially building up for a fight. But now it's man, I'm sort of getting tired of just hearing this person talk. And yeah, what makes it even more annoying as well is the fact that now he's talking about coming back, but no, let's not fight against Tom. Let's fight against Alex Pereira. So I mean, it's just this constant yanking. It's almost he's got a fishing rod, and he's just teasing this fight and just reeling it in slowly. I mean, it's very annoying as a fight fan, because you just sort of want to see these fights made, and it's one of the frustrating things that I think exists in boxing, and it's sort of leaking over into MMA now, and it's maybe that's why it leaves an even bigger bad taste in my mouth. because of that. But yeah, he's my villain.
I also went with John Jones for all the stuff you just outlined. Can't really add too much to it, but fucking dropping the belt, retiring to not fight Tom Aspinall, and then almost immediately saying coming out of retirement for the White House card. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. New face of the year, Isaac. Who do you have?
All right. So it's not exactly a new face, but he was like my breakthrough fighter of the year. I feel like I just sort of had to go to Joshua Van, man. I mean, early on, he fought multiple times this year. And then at the very end of the year, he fights the champion, Alex Pantoja. You know, it obviously didn't go the exact way he wanted it to go, but the end result was the same. Ends up as UFC champion, man. You know, this is something, he's young as hell, just started MMA not that long ago. And now he's, I mean, a very quick rise to the top. And yeah, I mean, he's champion. I mean, in 2026, things are going to run through him, at least to start with.
Nathan, who do you have?
Quillen Salkilid? Is that how you say his
The
name?
Australian.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Salkill.
Australian dude.
That guy. He had 3 pretty impressive performances out the gate in 2025. He was in the Contender Series last year. He's made good on that appearance now and has cashed in some real wins. And he looks like he could be something of note. So I'll be watching him.
In the first half of the year, I had John Silva. That didn't age very well.
Ooh.
Yeah. In the second half, I went with Fares Ziam, and that's my final pick of the year as well. The young Frenchman. Pretty, lot of highlight reel knockouts when he steps into the octagon. So I like that he's starting to get more notice. Like the organization is giving him more shine, and I think people are paying more attention. So I'm excited to see where his career goes this year. Last one for this episode, fighter of the year. I will start here. In the first half, I had Merab. In the second half, I went with Joshua Van. And for the final pick, I went with Joshua Van. It was really, really close between the two. Merab lost his last fight pretty convincingly. And Joshua Van's didn't go all that much better, but he did get the win. So I went with Van. Isaac, who do you got?
Yeah, man, this year was like a little bit tough. I mean, like you said, I would have had Merab had he not taken that Jan fight. I would have probably had Merab. You know, like you said, Joshua Van also had a great year, very active, ended up as champ. But I actually just ended up going with Islam. I mean, very dominant win in the second weight class. I mean, took the belt in a very like dominant fashion, and now, I mean, he looked good enough to where we were saying, now who can beat him at welterweight? It doesn't seem like it's going to be very easy to beat him there either, even with the disparity in weight, or even, you know, supposedly the disparity in weight. But yeah, man, very good fight to get that welterweight belt, and yeah, he made my fighter of the year.
Nathan, close us out.
So I have the same pick as I had in the first half, and it's still Merab, and he did lose, but I mean, 3-1, fighting 4 times in a year is kind of unheard of for someone at his level. And I mean, he beat 3 elite opponents up until the point where he lost to another, you know, the guy he lost to, Peter Yan's former champion. Like, he's not some nobody. And so even though it really didn't go his way, you know, I still have to give my hat off to Merab. I think he, you know, contributed more to any other fighter, especially in the year where, you know, like I said earlier, matchmaking has not been stellar. Like, he consistently showed up when others wouldn't, and I have to still give my nod to him for that, even in defeat.
Yeah, I was debating putting putting him there, even with the loss. Because I mean, dude, if he wouldn't have taken the Yan fight, I think it would have been pretty easy to decide that he was the fighter of the year.
Definitely.
But I mean, he was trying to go for like some type of generational year more than just like fighter of the year. I mean, we're talking about maybe one of the best years an MMA fighter has ever had. But yeah, fell a little bit short, but still had a good year.
All right, that's it for the 2025 picks for now. Let me do a little bit of notes here. LVX Media Net, that's a social media handle everywhere. Follow our shit, likes, posts, and stuff. That would be really helpful. Wherever you're listening, if you could leave us a rating, helps push us up the accursed search algorithm. And if you're interested in ad-free stuff and a little bit of behind the scenes, lvx.be/Patreon. Dandruff doesn't just affect your hair, it chips away at your confidence. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be this way. It's time to say bye to Flakes with Flakes. Flakes isn't a scented wash you get from the grocery store that just masks the problem. It's a powerful, medically formulated treatment designed to get to the root of the toughest dandruff. Flakes works fast to control the flaking, calm the itching, and soothe the redness that's on your scalp. And here's another pro tip. Flakes will also help with that stubborn beard druff if you have that too. Imagine feeling completely free to wear whatever you want, whenever you want to. Imagine just focusing on your day and not on your scalp. That's the difference that Flakes makes. Go to lvx.be/flakes for a nice little discount while you help us out a little bit in the process. Don't settle for temporary fixes that smell like the produce section of your grocery store. Fight back with the shampoo that dermatologists trust. lvx.be/flakes. Do you have that nagging feeling of being exposed when you're online? In today's world, a simple antivirus isn't enough. Your digital life, your photos, your bank accounts, your family's privacy, it all needs more than just a basic firewall. You need Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is your complete shield against the chaos of the internet. The powerful next-generation antivirus instantly quarantines threats, locks down malware before it can do any damage. But it doesn't stop there. It includes an ultra-fast, ultra-private VPN to encrypt your connections, keeping your location and data private while you're on public Wi-Fi. Plus, the integrated ad blocker makes your browsing cleaner and faster. Whether you're protecting your personal machine or securing the whole household, Malwarebytes is a plan for you. Go to lvx.be/mwb to find the subscription that's right for you. Don't wait for the next error message. Take control of your digital peace at lvx.be/mwb. All right, previews. It's kind of a short list, but we're just starting the year off. You know, I realized for the boxing stuff, I could have went with January 23rd, Zuffa Boxing is kicking off with its first event on Paramount Plus. Callum Walsh versus Carlos Ocampo.
Yeah.
Leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah.
But what do you
We
guys
also
have,
have
Dire.
we also have Teofimo versus Shakur in a couple weeks, don't we?
Yeah, that's coming up next week.
Yeah, that's getting me off next week to watch boxing. I'm fired up for that fight.
Yeah. Yeah. It just feels like Zuffa's going to be like, I mean, at least to start with. I mean, I'm not sure how to develop. But man, Colin Walsh versus Ocampo, that being like the headliner, and it's going to be in the Apex, right? Or sorry, Meta Apex.
The Meta Apex. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that's dire, man. I mean, they might as well put that like on Facebook Live or something and just get some more views. But that's not really like exciting me as a boxing fan.
For the MMA, kicking off on January 23rd, one Friday fights 139. Always fun knockouts. So if you want brutality. Also in the evening, one Fight Night 39. Let's see. There's no title fights on this one, if I'm not mistaken. So that's unfortunate. Here's why we're here. Saturday, January 24th at the T-Mobile Arena, UFC 324. UFC is kicking off Paramount Plus with a stacked event. This is pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right. From the bottom up, as we usually do, Ricky Tercios versus Cameron Smotherman at bantamweight. What is this? Josh Huckett versus Denzel Freeman. Heavies.
Heavyweight.
Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson at flyweight. That should actually be pretty fun.
Yeah, a little Charles Johnson. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Ranked as well. Both ranked.
Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez to close out the early prelims.
That's a good one.
High
That's like
knockout,
versus
high knockout potential on that one.
Yeah,
Someone could
I'm
get
excited.
folded.
Yeah, dude. Was it Alex Hernandez? He just stopped. Was it Chase Hooper? Or something like that.
Mhm.
And then Michael Johnson. I mean, also he's been sort of good recently as well. I mean, I think this is at least gonna be a good fight. But yeah, it's a nice one to cap off the early prelims.
Moving into the prelims, Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. That's
I think this will probably be good. Yeah.
Teba Gautier versus Andrei Pulayev. This one, Gautier's a good watch.
Yeah. Just he's got that same type of like imposing size that like Ngannou had. I mean, obviously he's at a lower weight class, but just a big dude for the weight class. A lot of power. Still not like, I mean, he's still in the prospect stage at the moment.
Definitely not prospects. Umar Nurmagomedov and versus Davison Figueiredo at bantamweight.
I sort
It
of cannot
should say
believe
something.
in the prelims.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I was
was
just gonna say
the same
I
thing.
sort of cannot believe it's in the prelims.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, in this fight, due to injury, might end up on the main card. But the fact that this was originally tabled to be the second, like the prelim co-main, is pretty insane. Like, this is an extremely high level fight. Umar, obviously, we know what his wrestling capability is. He's a good striker on top of that. And then Davidson, spent most of his career nuking, all of his opposition. Very well-rounded fighter himself. I think he's got a good chance in this fight. He's on the wrong side of, the age gap here. He has looked more weathered in recent years, but this is a good ass fight. Like, don't be shocked if Figueiredo makes this a lot more competitive than you might think. Like, I don't think this is going to be one-way traffic. This is going to be a dogfight, at least in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
And the prelims cap, Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, another good fight. This is sort of important as far as like contendership goes for the division. If Natalia Silva gets a win over Rose, I could see like somewhat soon, at least like in 2026, potentially getting a title shot.
Yeah, I am worried that Rose kind of gets smoked here. She's been doing enough to like maintain a ranking, but her career trajectory is downward, and Natalia Silva's really good.
Yeah.
So I do worry for her, but I mean, we'll see.
If I'm reading this correctly, according to ESPN, Natalia Silva and Rose Namajunas got moved into the main portion, and Umar versus Davison are capping off the prelims.
Okay, so they just moved up one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rose was pretty big at one point, especially like in the U.S. So that makes sense.
So that actually starting off the prelims is Arnold Allen versus John Silva.
Dude.
God, what a phenomenal fight.
Dude.
That's a really
Tremendous.
fucking good fight.
Yeah, matchmakers cooked here. Dude, Allen's been gone for so long. I've like been wanting to see him fight. I mean, every fight he has is tremendous. Very fun fights. Very good fighter as well. Dude, this should be. I don't see how this fight could not be a banger. I'm gonna favor Allen, but I mean, this is just toss a coin to be honest, because both of these dudes swing pretty heavily. I mean, they're not really trying to go the distance, especially John Silva. But yeah, I mean, let's see how John is after that loss to Lopez. Let's see if he's retained some of that damage. I mean, Allen's been in some wars as well, but yeah, this one should be practically a guaranteed banger.
I think the key for me in this fight is what did John Silva learn from the Diego Lopez fight? Because he was like really piecing up Lopez, and like we know how technical he is. We thought there was a very real possibility that he could outstrike Lopez, like, you know, very handedly, and he was. But the problem was he, you know, let his guard down. Like he walked straight into this, you know, spinning elbow that he should have been way more cautious. He should have been more, you know, applied his, you know, technical skills and just being more patient, you know. And so Allen is a very, very technical striker. He's not the strongest puncher, but if Silva backs him into a corner and he lets his guard down again, like, hey, you know, Allen's not a feather-fisted fighter by any means. So I think I'm going to take Silva to win this fight. I think he will adapt. I think he's still probably kicking himself about that Lopez fight, but he's got to show some measure of restraint until he's sure that, you know, he can secure the finish. Don't be walking hands down, hands at your hips against a guy that's still upright.
Yeah, this is. I feel like it really could go any way, but yeah, I'm just excited to see Arnold Allen back, and I mean this fight in general. Very good fight.
Insert Silva versus Namajunas here, and then moving up, Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis.
Yeah, they had to put Derek Lewis here. Had to. I mean, this is pretty much like guaranteed to be a finish. Although, I think Waldo Cortez Acosta, he's on like somewhat of a win streak right now. No, I mean, yeah, he's ahead of Derek Lewis in the rankings now. I mean, we'll
just,
see,
like,
man.
Killed the last guy he fought, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Shamil Kazeev or something like that. Oh no, Tom Aspinall's teammate. I mean, he stopped them both. But yeah, I mean, if he can stop Derek Lewis too, that would be a pretty good run, especially like a heavyweight with like a lack of prospects. I mean, he's at least exciting. I'm not saying he's like gonna win a belt right now or anything, but yeah, he's been getting finishes, which is definitely what you want to see at in the heavyweight division.
And I mean this as respectfully as possible, but it is really nice that the first Paramount Plus card features Derek Lewis, because Derek Lewis is like one of the UFC like spirit animals. Like he's one of like the like even though he's not iconic, right? Oh, he's iconic maybe in the wrong ways, right? He's not elite, but he's, I mean, an incredible character. He usually goes out and, you know, he either stops someone or gets stopped. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to like this guy. It's awesome that, you know, he's getting main event billing this late into his career. Like, that's a big, like, he's been a company man for a long time. He's put in the work. This is I think a fine reward for him here. And I mean, I'll be rooting for him to win. I don't know if he can at this age, but I'm rooting for him to give us something special on this card. I'm ready for that trademark interview.
Yeah, the hot ball strikes again.
Co-main event, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I'm expecting fireworks.
Yeah, this is set up. I mean, Sean just needs to get a win here, and I think they'd pretty much give him a title shot for whenever Song. Song is a pretty good contender. I mean, he lost to Jan. He just seems to be like a little bit short of like the very top of the division. But he's a solid fighter. He's got power, speed. Like Sean definitely doesn't want to be taking too many shots from Song. But I've got to favor O'Malley here by a good bit. I think he's a better boxer, better striker. Just, you know, longer, better at range. He should get the win here, I feel like. But a good fight to make.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking for Sean to prove something to me here, and not just that he still got it, but that he can execute his game against someone else who's actually a pretty good striker. Because if you look back at his career, he goes and gets the Jan fight probably too early, and then, I mean, looking back at that fight, like, I still think he probably lost it, right? I don't think he should have won that one. And then he goes and fights Aljamain. Aljamain tries to stand with him for some reason, gets knocked out. He gets Vera after that, a much rawer striker. He totally pieced him up. And then he gets, shredded by, the machine, Rob Dvalishvili twice. So we've not really seen him against the other, very good or even elite strikers in his division. And I kind of want to see that. Like, I assume that it will still be good, but like, is he going to give us, the kind of step back KO we haven't seen in a long time? Like these walk-off finishes that he kind of built his name on. I kind of want to see that. And I think he's got, a much better mentality since that first Merab fight, even though he got choked out. Even his response in that fight, I thought was incredibly mature. So I'm excited to see if he can, do some insano shit here, but also haven't seen it yet. So there's some questions I'm looking forward to seeing answered about him.
Yeah. So you gotta be careful with those takedowns too. Song has a pretty good corner with him. And obviously like Sean does too. But Song is with I think the gym is called like Alpha Males or something like that with Uriah Faber. I mean, they have like good wrestlers in their camp. I mean, I think, it's not just the striking he has to be wary about. So we'll see if he's, prepared well in this fight as well.
Oof. Main event. Justin Gaethje versus Patty the Batty Pimblett. Let me check to see. Oh. Nope. No news on if this is an... Oh, shit. It is an interim bout. Never mind. I was mistaken earlier, but... Yeah, Gaethje Pimblett for the interim title.
This is, I guess that's sort of not what we wanted. I don't know if people... this fight on its own, I think would have been okay. But the fact that it's like for an interim belt, I guess there's like sort of some like negative emotions there just because, Ilya should be fighting. Obviously, Arman probably deserves to be in one of these slots. But it should be a good fight. I mean, both of them are strikers. I mean, Patty, very good grappler as well. Yeah, I mean, should be a good fight. We'll see if Justin Gaethje can have one more in the tank. If he can get another highlight KO, we'll see if Patty gets an upset here. But yeah, man, Justin Gaethje's old, man, and obviously his last fight was against Fiziev, right? He looked good there. So hopefully there's not any lingering effects from the Max Holloway knockout. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this main event.
Yeah, and I mean the real MVP of this fight is I think Gaethje's team fleecing the UFC for another title shot. Like he did this whole thing of like, I won't fight again unless I get another title shot, which I don't think he had any right based on his, last couple fights to be requesting or demanding, but it's kind of fallen into his lap. And like here he's got, certainly a winnable fight. I'm leaning towards Patty. I think that he's kind of ironed out the parts of his game that made him weak. And I mean, this guy has got a serious weight advantage against everyone else in this division. Like he is enormous. And so I think he's going to get him on the ground eventually. He's probably going to win by submission if I had to guess, but I mean, he's got to get past the leg kicks, right? And which, we've seen Patty do well at, but like Gaethje obviously the more dynamic striker of the two. So if he gets past that, I think he drags him down, he submits him probably round 2 or 3, but yeah, we'll see.
Oof, anything more for UFC 324?
I was honestly like expecting maybe like a slightly bigger card, considering it's like the first Paramount card. I mean, I guess they tried to. I mean, with Kayla Harrison and like Amanda Nunes, and like it wasn't their fault what happened at lightweight with Ilya. I think like other shit going on in the background. But I mean, I guess it doesn't mean much coming from me, but I guess I was expecting like slightly more for their first Paramount card.
All right. right.
I'm satisfied with it, just as far as like you're providing like a really top to bottom stacked card, which you didn't have a lot of those last year. It seemed very top heavy. The star power could be better, obviously, but like if Taporia wasn't having his issues, he would be on this card probably against Gaethje, and it would be awesome. So I like the quality of the programming so far. Obviously, I'm very interested to see how Paramount Plus functions compared to ESPN Plus. I hope it's better, and I mean for the price, not to shield too hard for our new masters, but I mean we're paying what is it? It's like $11, $12 a month and that gets you everything. You don't have to pay $80 plus tax for a pay-per-view anymore. You could get an entire year's worth, basically, of Paramount Plus, or you get, I guess it'd be 9 months worth of Paramount Plus for the same price.
Yeah, it's definitely a good deal. I'm excited. I am happy, like as a fan. I am happy about that. No more pay-per-view.
All right. What if your best thinking day wasn't a lucky accident? What if you could access that clarity, that sharp focus, that feeling of being completely on whenever you need it? We live in a world of distraction, where mental fog can settle in before noon. You need a natural edge, a simple way to clear the noise and elevate your mind. Introducing psilocybin, the daily supplement powered by extraordinary magic mushrooms. For centuries, these mushrooms have been revered for the unique compounds that support brain health in very groovy ways. Psilocybin has harnessed that power, making it easy to integrate it into your daily routine. When you take psilocybin, you're not getting a jolt of caffeine or a rush of sugar. You're nurturing your mind's long-term health and inner tranquility. Experience better focus for complex tasks, sharper memory recall, or a consistent, calmer energy throughout the day. Whatever you need, psilocybin has a supplement for you. Ready to cut through the mental clutter? Are you ready to tap into your highest potential? Go to lvx.be/soul. That's lvx.be/soul. Get yourself a nice discount while helping us out while you're at it. Unlock your mind's clarity with psilocybin. Look around you. The food on your plate, the plants in the garden, they all depend on one tiny little hero, the honeybee. But bees are struggling, and the health of our planet is at stake, not to mention a third of what's on our dinner plate. Project Honeybee steps in with the belief that saving the bees can start with something beautiful. With a catalog of stunning bee-themed jewelry, necklaces, earrings, and charms that capture the spirit of the hive. When you wear a piece from Project Honeybees, you're not just wearing art, you're wearing your commitment to the buzzing buddies. Every single purchase directly funds conservation efforts, creating safe bee habitats, sponsoring research, and educating communities. It's beautiful jewelry with a purpose. Go to lvx.be/bees to get yourself a nice little discount and help us out in the process. Make an impact and look incredible while doing it. Find your next piece today at lvx.be/bees. Wear the change. Buzz, buzz, bitch. There's that. Let's see. If you want to join us in Discord, lvx.be/discord, there's a little sub-community for the MMA heads. And I want your spiciest takes, 833-589-7637. Hit me up in WhatsApp. All right. First episode of 2026. Parting words.
We're back, man. This is a new era. Dude, I'm excited to see how good 2026 is. I feel like there's a lot of potential here. And yeah, man, we're back. That we're back to doing this. And hopefully the fights can keep up with this as well.
Yeah, excited to be back as well. It really is the new era. I feel like there's a lot more possibilities with this new deal with Paramount than we had with the UFC. I think the exposure for this sport is going to explode, especially now that our biggest events are going to be live broadcast on CBS I mean, that's a phenomenal outreach for our sport. And look, the more eyes it draws in, that's going to pay dividends 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And I'm excited. I hope that, you know, the powers that be leave us alone and respect the sport and just let the UFC do their thing and just, you know, let it happen. But I'm excited. I'm really hyped for it. I can't wait to see what they cook up for us this year.
Oh, get your subscription now. I think they're going to raise the price on like the 22nd or 23rd, right before UFC content starts. So lock yourself in now.
Good.
That's it though for this edition of the Ultimate Effing Casuals. We'll fucking see you on the other side of 324.
Yeah.